Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, let's get an audio. Let's get an audio. Okay, testing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a public hearing called by the Helena-West City Council in light of a recent rate study completed by the Arkansas Rural Water Association to provide information to the Helena-West Municipal Water and Sewer Utility and West Helena Water Utility about the rates that are being charged to the customers. This public hearing is required by state law, and we ask that everyone who's in attendance please sign the sign-in sheet that was made available just outside the council room door. What we're going to do is we're going to play, I believe, Dennis Sternberg from the Arkansas Rural Water Association, if we can get that up. He came and made a presentation to the city council on July the 2nd. He presented his rate study. Now, we have posted around the room what you call QR codes. If you aim your camera at the QR code, you're able to pull up tonight's agenda packet, which is about 62 pages, including all the information that we're going to consider. So at this time, he's going to that meeting and is going to play that audio. We're ready. The city council members may not be able to hear that, but most of the city council members were present for that meeting. Are we able to get the audio in the room? Good evening. You're not getting audio. Yes, delayed. Huh? You're not getting audio. Yes, delayed. Huh? It looks like the technology is not going to work as we like for it to. So what we can do instead is we can just make the presentation here tonight based on the rate study. I get out of this live and ask. Make the presentation here tonight based on. Yeah, and entertain any questions that may be submitted to us by the audience that is present. I'm going to go to the city council packet that we have. And you may be able to show the city council packet.
So, Mr. Chief Staff, you're talking about the sewer ordinance that we're going to discuss.
Yes, it's all in the city council packet. The sewer ordinance is found toward the end of the packet, and I'm covered up and I got my mouth packed because I've been to the dentist. Uh, it was the same way as our last council meeting. But the sewer ordinance is, as proposed, is found on page 56 of 62 of the council packet. It is an ordinance to set sewer rates and customer charges and fees for the city of Helena-West Helena. And it reads as, whereas the city of Helena-West Helena was presented with a rate study for the adjustment of the current sewer rates for the city and all of its utility customers. And the rate study has recommended certain changes with the city's rate structure. Whereas the city of Helena-West Helena desires to set new customer fees and for its utility customers, and whereas the city of Helena-West Helena owns and operates a public water system comprised of the Helena Municipal Water and Sewer System and the West Helena Water Utilities, whereas the city must recover through charges and rates charged to customers of the systems the cost associated with the operation and maintenance of the system together with the cost of certain betterments and improvements to the system which are necessary to make the systems adequate to serve the needs of the city and its inhabitants. Whereas existing rates and charges established by current ordinances are no longer sufficient to meet the requirements of the system, and now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Helena-West Helena, Arkansas, Article 1, the sewer rates for the City of Helena-West Helena at those sites within the city limits and outside the city limits are as follows. Sewer, minimum bill, $9.27 per 1,000 gallons. All water usage over 1,000 gallons shall be billed at $9.88 per 1,000 gallons. Article 2, the sewer rates for those sites outside the city limits and serviced by the city of Helena-West Helena will be an additional 25% higher than the rates of those in the city limits. These sewer rates shall be subject to an automatic annual increase of 0.25 cents per 1,000 gallons plus 3% to account for periodic inflation. Article 4, the following customer fees shall be charged by our water and sewer utilities beginning upon the effective date of this ordinance. Service charge, $25. Service charge same day, $40. New customer fee, $7.50 water, $7.50 sewer, or $15. Late fee, 10% of the total amount billed. Safe Water Act, 40 cents. Water provider assessment fee, $1.50. Return funds for all payment types, $35. If there are two separate instances of return funds within 6 months, then cash or cashier's checks will be the only authorized form of payment. Return funds must be paid in cash. Meter tampering, residential and irrigation, $100. Meter tampering contract, commercial, industrial, $500. Lock, broke, or missing, $115. Stolen meter, $80. Home inspection for real estate sales, etc., $30. After hours service call, $50. After hours utility locate, $75. Arkansas Department of Transportation utility permit $1,050, with $1,000 of that being refunded upon approval by the Arkansas Department of Transportation. The VACCOM sewer riding machine to be determined. Trailer mounted sewer riding machine for the first hour, $175. Each additional hour, $75. Smoke testing, first hour, $100, $50 each additional hour. Sewer track camera inspection, $125 the first hour, $50 each additional hour. And the sewer push camera inspection, $75 for the first hour, and $35 for each additional hour. Disconnect notice fee, $15. Collection visit, $30. Disconnect or reconnect fee, $50. Second disconnect or reconnect within 12 months, $100. Additional after-hours disconnect or reconnect fee, $100. Security deposit for homeowners, $150. Renters, $175. Landlord, $200. Commercial, $250. Fire hydrant, $500. All those deposits are refundable at the end of the customer's usage. Water tap fee for 3/4 on an 8-inch, $1,200. 3/4 on a line larger than 8, $1,350. 1 inch on 1 inch on an 8-inch or smaller, $1,400. 1 inch on 8-inch or larger, $1,550. 2 inch on 8-inch or smaller, $4,700. 2 inch on a line larger than 8 inches, $4,950. Sewer tap fees for 4-inch residential or commercial, $450. Directional boring, $2,500 up front. And there is some provision for a refund on the directional boring. Larger diameter system tapping fees, 2-inch, $500, 3-inch, $650, 4-inch, $720, 6-inch, $800, 8-inch, $1,200, 10-inch, $1,500. New construction meter inspection, $325 for a 3/4 meter, $650 for a 1-inch meter. And beginning January the 1st, 2025, and on January 1st, each following year, sewer volume rates and base or fixed charges may be adjusted based upon the increased revenue requirement percentages calculated by using the U.S. Consumer Price Index for water, sewer, and trash collection services, CPI-WST, as published by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, increase for the previous 12-month period, provided that the City Council, at its discretion, may adjust the increase to a lower percentage than the CPI-WST. Sewer volume rates and base fixed charges will be adjusted by updating the current City of Helena-West Helena sewer rate study pursuant to Arkansas Code Annotated Section 14-234, Subchapter 8 requirements, as well as 14-234-223. This also will require a public hearing before it goes into effect each year. Article 7, the median household income for Helena-West Helena, Arkansas, according to the most recent census data provided by the United States Census Bureau, is $31,118. To qualify for certain loan forgiveness programs or grants, our sewer rates must be 1.5% of the median household income based upon 4,000 gallons of water usage. This ordinance and the charges, rates, and fees meet that requirement such that our community can and will qualify for future loan forgiveness, i.e. grants. Article 8, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Article 9, if any portion of this ordinance is held to be invalid, such invalidity shall not affect other portions of the ordinance, and to that end, the clauses in this ordinance are declared to be severable. Emergency clause. The City Council finds that said charges, rates, and fees are reasonable and necessary to provide adequate funds for the operation, maintenance, and financing of the City of Helena-West Helena public water and sewer utilities as set forth here and above, and the same shall be charged for services billed on or after August the 1st of 2024. These charges, rates, and fees are necessary such that if they are not charged, the fiscal sustainability of the operation of the City of Helena-West Helena public water and sewer utilities are in jeopardy, putting the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Helena-West Helena at risk, such that an emergency is hereby declared. Passed on the 23rd day of July 2024, signature by the mayor, attestation by the clerk. And that is the sewer ordinance. The water ordinance reads likewise, except for the water rates. Anybody got any questions based on what I presented?
Questions or comments?
Huh?
Questions or comments?
Yeah, either one. Questions or comments, I'm sorry. Included in the city council packet on page 53, 54, and 55 are some calculations that were done to show how these rates would pan out. And of course, as Mr. Steinberg recommended, the starting rate was not increased on the first 1,000 gallons of usage by our customers. So any customer that uses 1,000 gallons or less per month would not experience any increase. But on the subsequent gallons of use, the water is $7.58 per thousand. The sewer is $9.88 per thousand. So, for example, a customer that used 2,000 gallons or less, more than 1,000 but less than 2,000 gallons of water, would be billed $42.93. Customer that used more than 2,000 but less than 3,000 gallons of water will be billed $60.39. And this is for water and sewer. It does not include the other fees that may show up on the water or sewer bill. At 4,000 gallons, a customer used more than 3,000 but less than 4,000 gallons to get around the 4,000 gallon average, they be charged $77.85. And the 1.5% requirement is that it be at $77.80. So you 5 cents over that based on this calculation. You probably couldn't get it any more precise than that. Customer using between 4,000 and 5,000 gallons would be billed $95.31. Customer using 6,000 gallons, which is typically outside of our general use, would be charged $112.77. And it will continue to go up, whether it's residential or commercial, depending on how many gallons of water are used. And while I guess I got the mic, people tend to have leaks periodically, and they are encouraged to fix those leaks as soon as they can, because the water department has a policy where it gives you a adjustment or a discount if you repair your leak and bring it in and show some bill for having that leak repaired. But that adjustment is based upon your 6 months average. So if it leaks for 6 months, your average bill is going to be equal to the amount of the leak. So the sooner you make the repair, the greater the opportunity for you to get a adjustment that is favorable on your water bill if you have a leak. Most of the leaks that we find are in the toilet tank. The flapper or something of that sort is gone bad, which you can go to Walmart or the local hardware store and buy the parts and just about replace them yourself. But that's one of the greatest areas where we have people experiencing higher water bills, is that the toilet continuously flushes or it continuously runs. You hear it making a little noise for a little while and stop, little noise for a little while and stop, but it's doing that 24 hours a day, and that'll add up and run your bill up. So if you have a leak, please get it fixed as soon as you possibly can. Not only because our system is fragile, but because the longer the leak goes, the more your average bill will be, and the less discount you're likely to get. The other thing, just as a potential talking point, I guess, at the 77.80 for water and sewer at 4,000 gallons, that's about 2 cents a gallon of water. So it's still relatively cheap, although it won't feel that way to the average user. Just take that 77.80 divided by 4,000, and you come up with a number. But it's right around 2 cents for that water.
Are there any questions or comments? The floor is open
for any questions and comments or statements relating to the information that's been provided.
Well, I have a question.
Would-
So,
State your name for the record.
Derek Turner, City Treasurer. So you have a rate study, and
Yes,
it helps to determine the rates, the sewer rates and the water rates,
correct.
right? So how are the fees determined?
So what now?
Fees,
Fees not part of the rate study.
I know, but how would they determine?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me answer that. The fee was determined by me and working with Jackie, I guess the head clerk over in the water department. Looking at the fees were last adjusted prior to 2005, prior to consolidation. When we consolidated, we made the fees equal one side or the other, but there was no upward adjustment. So we looked at what Barton is doing and about 15 to 20 systems in the state of Arkansas of what they are charging. And we found what we thought was kind of the happy medium on what people are charging around the state of Arkansas, since it's been so long since our fees were adjusted. Most of these fees won't be charged to our customers because the customers are not new, so they don't have to pay a new deposit. The customers is not bouncing checks or sending that stuff, won't incur those fees. Customers paying before the time of the 10% add-on won't incur those fees. People paying before they are rebilled won't pay that fee. So most of the fees are avoidable, except for new construction and stuff of that sort. And what we basically been doing is giving away our services on new construction and stuff like that, as if we are just basically desperate for people to do it. And what we're finding is they're not even repairing the holes that they created, whether it's directional boring or if they fixed a gas leak like on 4th and not 4th, 5th and Anderson. They repaired that several times. It's a gas company, but that has not been covered over. And it's a host of those things. And one of the other things, this is an aside, we got to find a way to hold these utility companies accountable, because as we've been doing cleanup, we find that like you have a storm and a power pole is broken, they leave it. They leave the broken pole over there in the weeds, and things grow up around it. The average person can't pick it up, can't move it. And so we're encountering that. So I've been in conversation with some of the people with energy about the how-to. What they reported is they always get them. And of course, we're all human, so we make mistakes. So I'm not trying to blast them or anything, but we got to do a better job with some of that stuff too. But most of those fees are avoidable, except if you a brand new customer or you build a new subdivision or you cut a street, kind of thing.
So the fees, they're not, like you said, something falls in a ditch and the utility company does not come and get it or pick it up?
The fees don't address that.
Okay,
I just mentioned that as an aside,
Okay, I got
that, we are all as utilities responsible for our scrap, and we should pick it up and take it away. The water company shouldn't leave rocks on the side of the road. I'm talking about the big chunks of rock where they dug up the road. They shouldn't leave that on the side of the road. Neither should the gas company or the utility company leave their scrap. But we're experiencing some of that. And the way we find it is over in some weeds.
So there are some fees that the city needs also, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the city is having to pick up those trees to pick that stuff up, haul it off, dispose of it. Paying, city employees, using city trucks, city hydraulic fluid, all that stuff that it takes to operate the equipment to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments from anyone, whether the city council, administration, or someone from the audience?
How are these rates comparable to other cities surrounding us?
And the rates in terms of our water and sewer rates, I haven't done a comparison on those.
You have not
No.
looked at other cities around us as to what they're charging?
No, and part of the reason that wouldn't necessarily be the best route is that your rates are based upon your set of circumstances in terms of what your expenses are, what your needs are, and what you're designed to do. And that's what the rate study was done to show you, that you lost $700,000 last year in revenue, and so the rates are adjusted to account for that to a point of break even. And then, and when you lost the $700,000, the loss is not like money disappeared. The money was used in the water department that was sanitation fees. So the water department, as an operation over there, didn't physically go into deficit. It kept money that was sanitation money. So the water and sewer revenue did not cover water and sewer expenses. I hope I'm saying that right. And so that's part of your rate study stuff. And the rule that Dennis Sternberg shared with us was that you could not go below what the rate study recommended, but you could go above. And this one, our recommendations only go above to the extent to qualify for those loans and grants that we've been talking about since last year. That's that 1.5% of median household income. So it's $466 for water, $466 for sewer, for any household that uses an average of 4,000 gallons a month. And that'd be the yearly fee.
I'm very much concerned about the people of this community being able to handle any substantial amount of increase in water and sanitation fees suddenly brought upon them.
Yes, sir. Well, I understand that. I can
Their
fully,
concern is,
I can fully appreciate your concern. As I have an 86-year-old mother who's retired, she ain't going back to work for nobody for no reason, so her income is fixed. So I appreciate your concern, but at the same time, we live in a
we
community.
got to pay our bills.
We all
got to
collective.
provide. I understand that.
We all got to pay our share. My suspicion is her use is going to be less than 2,000 gallons, so her bill is going to remain, relatively speaking, low, unless she has a leak. But you know, I don't know that. But we have to pay the fee for service, and we're asking people to pay 2 cents for 1,000 gallons of water, whereas or maybe it's 2 cents for a gallon of water. I forget what it is. We pay more than that for everything else, whether it's gas, lights, gas at the gas station, all of it.
Have you taken the average water and sanitation bill as it is right now and compared it to the new rates and all, and see what the increase, how much increase it'll be on the average? Looked at an average.
No, I haven't. I can tell you the difference in, if I can find where I put my glasses, on 4,000 gallons. On 4,000 gallons, the customer will be billed somewhere between $12 and $15 more.
12 to 15,000.
$12 to $15 more to meet the median household income than just the base break even on your rate study. And if you do the break even on a rate study, and that's not to say that the numbers that were given to them on the rate study were bad or anything of that sort, but if it's break even and there's something that wasn't included somehow because it wasn't disclosed to Mr. Turner, you're still operating at a deficit.
Mr. Val, can I ask
Yes,
you
sir.
another question? Oh, so, okay, so the last time we changed rates, they gave us a break-even number, and then they gave us a recommended number or something like that. So did he give you two separate numbers, or he just gave you break-even?
He gave us the rate study with break even. That's all he provided. The other numbers that are in this, on this page in here, we took a spreadsheet and put the numbers in it to calculate on page 54 of the spreadsheet.
Are you saying these numbers that you put together here are a break-even number?
No, the break-even number is the number that the rate study recommended, and that's in the left-hand column on page 54. But in order to
Page what?
54. But to qualify for the loan forgiveness, and you're about to borrow $11 million,
Yeah.
to qualify for that, your rate needs to be a little higher than break even.
Yeah,
Okay. It is now 6:05. We need to move to final comments so that we can move into our regular scheduled city council meeting. Was there any other?
Well, did you have any questions or comments, sir? Did you have any questions or comments? No, sir. Okay, that's fine. Anybody else, any questions or comments? Mr. St. Columbia, or any other members of the council or the head table, any questions or comments? All right.
Nobody.
Okay.
There is a quorum to move into the council meeting. Mr. Etherly, it does not appear that the mayor is here at this present moment. I believe that you are the pro tem. We yield to you for you to move forward with the council meeting.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and start with the prayer and the pledge. Mr. Ballard, will you say a prayer?
Let us pray. Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus. Father, we pray for this city. We pray that as we go forward, that we find resolution to the water issue. Father, we pray for this meeting, that everything will be done decent and in order, and we will get the city's business done, and not only order, but professional and courteous one to another, and that we will be quite productive today. Father, we pray for this city, for this county, and for this country, and we pray for your will to be done. In Jesus' name I pray.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Roll call, Maxine Miller,
Here.
Latoya Harris. Present. Mr. St. Columbia,
present.
Mr. Etherly,
Here.
Monica Davis, Kyle Miller. We have a quorum with 4 members.
Okay. Yes. Is this at everybody's?
Yes, page 5.
Okay. If you would turn to page 5 of your agenda, first item on the agenda is BPS resolution request from Mr. John Edwards as it relates to BPS. And if everybody has it,
It's page 5 of your agenda.
page 5 of your printed agenda.
Page 5.
Yes, sir, page 5 of your printed agenda.
Mr. Edwards was here last week, and he did one for another entity. and-
NORAC,
NORAC, yeah. And he asked that we adopt this one tonight for
BPS.
BPS.
We discussed that at our last meeting, is that correct?
Right, we discussed
That's
one with NORAC our last meeting, and this is the exact same one.
What's that resolution number?
It should be 11. It was 10 last week.
Ms. Tennessee? Okay, we'll call it 11.
11.
11?
Resolution 11.
And
Is there a
if
motion?
not, we'll get the clerk to change the number.
Is there a motion to adopt?
I so move.
Motion by St. Columbia to adopt resolution number 11. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Maxine Miller. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Mr. St. Columbia,
Yes.
Ms. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
and Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item on the agenda is under old business, city treasurer resolution amending 2023 budget.
It's not in the packet, Don.
Okay.
So we'll do that on the next regular meeting.
What's the next regular meeting date?
The The 6th.
6th.
It's on the bottom of the agenda.
Okay. Next regular meeting date, August 6th. That item will appear on the next regular meeting agenda. City Attorney is up next. There's no item specified, but City Attorney, you have a presentation.
Well, the only thing I had to update you on is tomorrow we have a hearing relating to our eminent domain petition. The mayor and I have been trying to negotiate with the Boys and Girls Club. The mayor has met with them on Friday. I do not have an offer from them. I asked the mayor to give us an offer so we can discuss it. At this time, we are still moving forward with the hearing, to my knowledge. It's been set by court order at 10 a.m. tomorrow before the Honorable Chalk Mitchell. The issue is, just to clear up some of the public scrutiny, there is an existing easement that the city owns from 1973, from the former veneer company before H&M. And that the easement runs across the rear of the property. It goes from, as you know, the Boys and Girls Club is 2 doors down from our water utility. That's easement that went to well number 9. Well number 9 has now failed. And the site was selected by numerous factors. For the public to understand those factors, the engineer was Ken Weiland of Weiland Engineers. What he did was he looked at various sites. In looking at various sites, he sought the state's approval, and the state only approved, the Department of Health only approved this particular site. Now, for the public's sake, the site is 30 by 30, and it ties into an existing easement. The city has an existing easement, and there's a road for ingress, which means entry, and there's road for egress, which is exit. And there's a 30 by 30 plot that is 900 square feet. And there's a 100-foot perimeter around it to make sure there's no contamination. When you see the maps, as I emailed all the council, you see the maps, it's just a narrow line that goes around in between the ball fields. It's not overly intrusive or any of that. And so the city needs the property. This is a public health crisis. Let's be specific about this. If that well is not constructed, the city will run out of water. Let's be very specific about that. And so there were some that were offended that the city entered on the property. And as it relates to when the city entered on the property, the city was going to look at its own easement, which any utility company can do. Utility company have a right to come inspect their easement and et cetera. And then they came to also do the boring. The engineer met with the Boys and Girls Club in February and gave them the detailed plan and met again with them in May. And in the May meeting, the mayor was there, I was there, and Mr. Weiland was there. And Mr. Weiland explained in detail, this is a public health crisis. If you all remember, the city was out of water for approximately 13 days, West Helena was. And at any point, if we have some major thing, we could have some issue. And so this issue, what we're petitioning for is we're not trying to take advantage of the Boys and Girls Club. The city needs the land. The city must have a well. And before, even if we dig the well, what the state has said is until we have ownership of the 30 by 30 or 900 square foot plot, as well as an easement, that 100-foot easement around that 30 by 30 plot, then we cannot activate the well. Even if you dig it, it can't be approved without the state having proof that the city is in ownership of the actual land in fee simple for 30 by 30, and that the city has the perimeter around it. As I said, the mayor is here now. We went to the Boys and Girls Club. They told me they were going to have an attorney, so I left the meeting and allowed the mayor to talk to them one-on-one and make an offer to them. And at this point, I don't have an acceptance of an offer. I will yield to the mayor on that to see what the actual issues are at this point.
Yeah, I'm sorry for getting started, but the Boys and Girls did make an offer of $10,000 cash. They would like to have $10,000 for the land, and they kind of want to be on the agenda for the next meeting because they feel like they got a kind of like they weren't represented right. They feel like
They offered to sell it to us for $10,000.
Yes. but they want to have a conversation with us because they feel like they didn't get the right representation. They think that they don't want you all to think it's them against us and us against them. They want to work with us. Like the Boys and Girls Club, they only receive donations or whatever, telling me, and that is true. But they are willing to give us the land for $10,000.
The appraiser, I called him, we haven't gotten back together yet, but he'll be at the hearing tomorrow to give us the actual value of the property. The city is supposed to $10,000 tomorrow once the order is in it. And so that's what the council approved for a bond. Now, the $10,000, when I say the bond, you all previously voted that the city would place $10,000 with the court. And we're waiting on the hearing because the court had to sign an order to authorize us to do so. And so I've ordered the check from the water utility, and water utility has done so, but we cannot place it with the court until we have a court order. And that is where we are. I asked for $10,000 because when I talked to the appraiser, he didn't think it was worth $10,000, but we wanted to pay to make sure that we didn't have to come back to you all again for the actual value of the property. Now, it is a lawsuit. You all can sell it for whatever amount you want to sell it for. You can make whatever offer you want to. I can't make it. You all are in charge of the finances. So if you all want to accept that, the previous offer, when the mayor went back and forth, let's give the history so the public understand. We met with them, and then approximately 21 days later, they set an offer for $25,000, which is equivalent of $1.2 million an acre. 900 square feet. An acre is 43,560 square feet. And so the price that they were asking for was that equivalent. In addition, they were asking for the water utility to be them to have free water and for the city to cut the grass. It's my understanding from the mayor at this point that the only thing the Boys and Girls Club asking for is $10,000.
They said they would pay their own water bill. That's the thing. They said they'll be responsible for their own water bill at this point.
And what about the grass?
They didn't say anything about the grass.
So it's $10,000 cash.
And that's just me as the mayor. I kind of want to work with the Boys and Girls Club. I don't want it to be like we got an issue. They need what they need, and we need what we need. And it's a lot of things in this community that we're trying to do. And whatever the Boys and Girls Club need, I kind of want to work with them, and I hope they work with us. But this $10,000 is all they're asking for, and I think we should just give them that and just get on out the way of that, so we can keep moving forward with this well, because we already know what was did and what was said. We're here now, $10,000. I mean, if you all want to do this, let's just go ahead and get this out the way tonight. So it's just
Have they put that in writing to you?
But Mr. Gallagher, didn't you say we had an appraisal? Has it been appraised yet?
He's appraised. He hadn't given it to me. He's going to be at the hearing in the morning.
But even so, the water bill is like what I'm right at $5,000 or $6,000. So we're gonna the money's going back into the water department. So they owe us. So once we give them money, I just think that to keep from going to court, let's go ahead and handle it tonight. If you all would, let's go ahead and give them the $10,000. Let's move forward so we can keep moving forward as well, because we need to be trying to put another well in the ground as soon as possible as well. So let's just get this out of the way. Let's move forward. Anybody want to make a motion to accept the $10,000 for the Boys and Girls Club?
I'd like to make that motion. I think that's a nominal fee.
Ms. Miller makes the motion to accept the $10,000 for the Boys and Girls Club for the land that the well will be placed on.
The motion is $10,000
Yes, sir.
for the land.
Mm-hmm.
And they
I'll
are paying
second
their
that.
own water.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes.
That's without any kind of water deals or anything.
Yes, sir. That's correct. Ms. St. Clement seconds the motion. Any discussion?
I have a question. Why wouldn't you wait until the appraisal comes and then try to determine? Because the appraisal may say $3,000. That's my only question. You can.
I mean,
vote for it.
but we here. I understand it, but we here.
Okay.
We trying to move it forward. Even if it comes back low or high, we still got to wait. We still got to go to court in the morning. Am I correct? So
Yes, we have a hearing tomorrow at 10.
So Any more discussion?
My understanding, they've agreed to the 10,000.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
We need to move along with this thing. We don't need to.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay, Mr. St. Columbia,
Yes.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Ms. Maxine Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Now, one thing I want to say for the record, the city has not engaged in any way trying to bash the Boys and Girls Club. We need that. We have not said anything negative in this meeting about the Boys and Girls Club. We've stated the facts as they are. And so while some people want to cause dissension, the issue is this is a crisis. And the one thing that the chief of staff and the mayor has previously cautioned us about is we need another well and maybe even a third well, depending on where we find the site. And we have to be cautious about dealing with individuals because we're in a crisis and we want to make sure that we get the best value for the land when we do the well. We're nowhere near over. We have to keep moving forward to try to get this done. Because we hope that well will yield 2,000 gallons a minute, but it's my understanding it's going to yield around 800 gallons a minute. Just a reminder to you all that we still need other wells.
And I want to say this to the Boys and Girls Club. Maybe I didn't communicate with them as well as I should have. Maybe, and that was a breakdown. And I apologize to you all and them for that, because sometimes in the scheme of things, you don't get a chance to communicate the way you should. And I apologize to you all for not communicating with you all or the club. So that's an apology to you all and the club publicly that maybe I didn't communicate it right. My goal is to be in a hurry to get this thing going. I apologize to everybody and the club if they feel like that something. No, I know they feel like something was wrong or wasn't communicated right. So I apologize to you all and them, because trying to move fast in a hurry on things, you don't really know that you've done something. But when people bring it to your attention, you want to acknowledge their feelings. And the Boys and Girls Club is doing great things in this community. I want to keep a relationship with them and keep watching them grow. Just want to.
Mayor, will you communicate with them that we need that something in writing from them?
I talk to you.
Not a text message. We need a document in writing. We'll still be accorded to you to make sure, because unless we get something in writing, we don't have an acceptance.
I'll make sure Ms. Pittman give me something tonight, and we'll go from there.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mr. Mayor, the next item on the agenda, I hope you either deal with it summarily and approve either all of those minutes or delay them to your next meeting. But there's getting to be quite a few of them, and I know you didn't get them until, well, maybe a couple weeks ago now. But you got minutes from, I think, 6 meetings that are in here in your packet. And that's not all of your meetings that you've had. You had quite a few meetings in June and July. Seems like it's been an average of 1 a week. We're at 2 in 1 week in June. But if you happen to review them, why don't we just come back to them August the 6th? And maybe by then we can just pass them all at once. You see what I'm saying? I ain't trying to rush you, but I'm just saying we don't have to sit here to read them.
We can just pass them on tonight.
The dates listed are May 7th, May 28th, June 4th, June 11th, June 12th, and July 2nd. I'm not sure how that lines up with what's in the packet. I didn't individually go through that. I see a June 4th. I saw May 7th. I see. See a July 9th. So the dates on there are not matching up with what's back here. July 10th. So the dates are a little different as to what's listed on the agenda and what's actually in your packet. I got May 7th. June 4th. July 9th, special meeting, July 10th, and then the rate study. So that, yeah, just let us come to that on the 6th, and we'll have them to you days before. And, well, you got these. I'm gonna see what else the clerk is saying that hasn't been passed. Make sure we at least get you those minutes, so you can just, because it's really pro forma when you pass them. Do the minutes reflect what you did? So then the next item would be ordinance on water rates, ordinance on sewer rates, and some pending invoices for leaks in the water department. Did you want to do the invoices first and then the ordinances last? That's the way they lined up in the packet. And while we're flipping pages, we'll go to the invoices. While we're flipping pages, I'll tell you that the update on the well is that we're over 400 feet deep. We're down to the area where you put in the screen. The screen is what they use to suck the water out of the ground. So it's a solid casing from the ground down over 400 feet. And then after that, it opens up like a netting type thing where they can suck water out of the aquifer. And so we're down to that point now. So they should be completing within the next week or so the underground portion of the work. And then they'll have to do the above ground. That is where they run this line over from the well site to the existing line that connects to our water plant, and then put the instrumentality together, the pump and all of those things on top of it. And I suspect, weather permitting, manpower permitting, and money permitting, within a couple of weeks, they should be able to get all that done if all the parts have arrived. And I haven't talked to either Ken next door, the Ken Wilden engineer, or Jeff Jones with Jones Hydro out of Stuttgart about the timeline, but I have been on the scene and made the observations of what they've been doing out there. And they work until the last couple of days, they've been working 24 hours a day on that well. So it should be soon that it's operational, pending the ownership of the ground. The invoices that we have in here, I'm trying to go back and find the pages though. Are they before or after the rate study? We got Andre Crawford. Yeah, they start with Andre Crawford on page 44. And essentially he's billed for 51.5 hours and 5 days usage of a Mini X, which is a small excavator.
What page we on?
Page 44.
Thank you.
I think the mayor sent out something designating that this has been approved, with $16,950 for Crawford. And I'm just gonna go through them just real quick so you can see them. We can come back if you got. Then on 47, Jeff Jones sent an interim bill of $18,896.30. And this is for this current well project, if I remember right. Let me go back to the top. Well, no, this is some work he's done on the well. I can't tell exactly from looking at it. Because it's packing grease and repairing the motor. Okay. On the bottom of page 48, not quite the bottom, it says labor and support equipment to pull high service pump number 1 at Helena plant, install, repaired pump, and started up. So this is work where the pump failed down on Chickasaw Street. That's where this work for Jones Hydro, $18,000 for 7,400 $67 of that being labor, and almost 1,800 of it being sales tax. So we'll get a little bit of that back. Qualibum has a bill in this one for 16 hours or $5,050. And then Xylem has a bill for $9,600, I believe it is. And this one, we talked about at a previous meeting, not this bill, but why we're getting a bill like this. It's $9,570.85. And the location is on Highway 44, our sewer ponds. So until we repair those pumps at that pond, we're renting this pump to operate them. When the pumps don't work, our raw sewage overflows the banks of our ponds into that farm ground on Highway 44. And that's why we have this one. But we also have 2 other ponds. So we're down from 8 to 3, but we still have 2 other that we are leasing. But Xylem said that they are maybe $2,000 a month apiece. So maybe that's why they are not in this packet. But I just wanted to be clear. I asked once how many we were leasing, and it's down to 3, according to Michael Gates at Xylem. So those are the invoices.
We down from, we used to be on 12, right?
I don't remember. I knew it was 8 at one point.
We was down from 12 to 8 to 3.
Yeah.
Well, I have 3 working.
We down to reading 3 pumps. We started with 12.
Yeah. And the one at the sewer pump, you're paying this almost $10,000 a month for. It's so big, it has to be lifted and lowered by a forklift. Yeah, it's not. It's a pretty intense machine. I don't know how many hours the thing runs before we have to fill it up.
Run for about 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. So that's how much diesel it holds, that it runs 3 or 4 days before we refill it. But we set, is it 1,000 gallon of diesel? That we sit out there with it, that it automatically feeds it. So they have to go out and check it and make sure it's still running. But these others there, they're toting diesel in cans and pouring it into the. So.
Do y'all, okay, what is the wish of the council? Do y'all want to take this all together, or one by one? I think if we take them all together, just approve all of them together, we can keep moving along mighty fast instead of this one by one. So there are motion to approve all the bills at once.
So moved.
Ms. Miller moves to approve all the invoice that Mr. Dallas presented.
Second.
Ms. Harris seconds the motion. Is there any discussion?
That's a motion to pay all of them.
Yes, sir. All the bills that were mentioned in your packet tonight. So, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Ms. Harris? Yes. Mr. Eppley?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
And Mr. St. Columbia?
Yes.
I'm here. Yes.
And, oh, sorry, Dr. Moore.
How much is the total on that? You got a total for all of them?
Let's see, 17, 36,
I didn't know.
41. It's over $42,000. About $53,000 when you count Xylem and the 3 plumbing bills. 3. Well, Jones is not a plumber, but Jones is 18,000, almost 19. Crawford 16, and Qualibum in this instance is 5. You approved 30,000 for Qualibum last meeting. Now, the only other items you have left is your water ordinance and your sewer ordinance. I read the sewer ordinance in its entirety during the public hearing. I could, and the difference sewer ordinance and the water ordinance. It's just the water rates. And the water rates, what I mean by that is per meter size and all of that, what you charge for the water rates per meter size. And the number that's in there is, I think, $7.58 for water for the additional 1,000 gallons for water. And on the sewer side, as we read it, it's $9.88.
I asked about the rates being the break even, but in the ordinance, is that number that the state of Arkansas required us to have? The number that's in the ordinance?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's what the comparison has MHI at the top. So to meet that MHI, median household income number, is the third column on the page. I forgot the page number now. But it's the third column, and that's where the rates are set at that number. $7.58 for water, $9.88 for sewer, with the base rate remaining unchanged in this increase. So for the first 1,000 gallons, no increase, which is exactly what rural water suggested. But then each successive 1,000 gallons, it goes up. But even at that, on the 4,000 gallons, it was about 2 cents a gallon that the customer will be paying for water and sewer, about a penny each, roughly. If you divide 77.80 by 4,000. The other thing, Mr. St. Columbia mentioned, and it may have just been out of habit, but he mentioned sanitation rates. This does nothing with sanitation rates. Sanitation rates are unchanged. And certainly what the administration's hope is, when the water begins to collect adequate funding and sanitation rates start going to the sanitation department, have a better eye for what is needed in the sanitation department.
Just very small attention. On Article 4, you had a little small typo.
On which ordinance?
It's on Article 4 of the sewer. It says the following customer fees. You had D twice. It's just a small typo. On page 58 of 62, Article 4. The following customer fees. It's just a duplicate.
Article 4.
Mhm. Article 4, 56 of 62.
Yeah.
It's just a small typo.
Okay.
So just redo it.
Oh, okay. You got the word "the" twice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So if it's passed, we'll have the mayor to strike that out.
Yes,
Oh, we
sir.
can reprint it. Yeah,
Yes,
we can reprint that.
Just
Yeah.
with corrections. Maybe.
Huh? Yeah.
Pass it with corrections. Recommended corrections.
Is there a motion to adopt?
I don't want to vote for it. But have we already voted for one? We already voted for one.
Ben vote for either.
Yeah, vote for either.
I'm sorry, what happened?
Nothing. We were discussing, we were talking about the water
Oh, okay.
ordinance. Which is
Yeah,
page,
had two council members that weren't here, so they don't know what the.
Oh, well, I can go back through it real quickly. Before I do, Mr.
Oh, no, I'm good with this. My question was, did anyone from I did not make the public meeting though. Was there any comments, concerns, feedback that anyone gave us?
All of it came from this side of the table.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see the online, but the things that you had to appear to comment, and none of the audience had any questions or comments. Mr. Collins just gave me a list and told me we got about 20 more leaks than this, and this one has 31 on it that have been repaired. So we repaired about 51 leaks. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. Yeah, but as a general principle, the ordinance as presented for water and sewer rate amounts to be set matches what the State of Arkansas Natural Resources Council or Commission says you must have in order to qualify for forgivable loans or grants. and that's 1.5% of the median household income for each water and sewer, which is about $38.90 on 4,000 gallons of usage. And so mathematically, for those of you who are mathematicians, you take the $38.90 and subtract it from where you started to $16.20 on the water side, and whatever that difference is, you divide it by 3, so you can add 3,000 gallons to the $16 amount, and that's how you got $7.58. And on the sewer side, you take the $38.90, subtract $9.27 from it, and divide that number by 3, and that left $9.88. And that's how you got the subsequent rate to match the $38.90 on 4,000 gallons of water usage. And that's where that comes from. And you can set that rate as long as it is equal to or higher than the rate study required. You can't go below the rate study. And those numbers are a bit higher than the rate study required.
So I'd be happy to entertain the motion to approve. What ordinance is this, Madam Clerk?
I don't have them.
Oh, sorry.
The increase on the water rate? I'd like to make that motion. Agenda.
Okay, you have two different ordinances. One is on page 56.
56.
That's the sewer and one
That's
is-
the sewer rate is first.
So
The motion,
Page is that?
56, Mr. St. Columbia.
56.
yes, the motion would be to,
Approve of. Doing one by one.
we're doing one by one. Motion would be to suspend the rules, place on third and final reading the title only for ordinance, the sewer rate ordinance. Is that your motion, Ms. Harris? Suspend the rules, place on third and final reading the title only on the sewer ordinance.
I thought we were
Yeah,
discussing
It
the water rate.
is. It's just the first one that's gonna be.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes.
Is there
Yeah,
a second?
Sewer price. Second. Mr. Second the motion. Any discussion?
What's the number?
It's the ordinance for the sewer rates. What's the ordinance number?
Ordinance number.
I don't know the ordinance number, but it's just sewer rate ordinance. Sewer rate ordinance. I'll text the clerk and see.
Let us call number 15 for now. If it needs to be corrected,
So
we'll have the clerk to correct it.
Ordinance number 15, any discussion?
Ordinance number 15.
Yes, sir, Mr. St. Columbia. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mr. St. Columbia.
No.
Cal Miller.
I'm on staying.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Etherly.
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Yes.
Because, can I say something? Like with our other utilities, Entergy, Arkla, they raise our hundreds of dollars every month. They do it when they feel like it, when they feel ready. I think this is a huge difference in our water rate. And if it's gonna help us with our grants and things to come, I think it's a good idea. I mean, it's not,
I'm helping Ms. Harris, because you're absolutely right. Next month, Centerpoint's gonna go up on your gas. Energy. gonna go
hundreds
up.
of dollars.
Right, so I understand people say, well, this is the thing. We can't get any forgiveness or anything back for none of this. Because the governor has told me that she is not going
Want
to
to help
help
us,
us
right,
until we raise water rates.
right.
So and it's nothing personal. We need all the help we can get. We've heard the choir sing the best song in the world. Rural Water came and stood up and sung that if we have one more issue in West Helena, we're done. We're trying to keep the state from coming in and taking over our water system. And I understand it affects all of us, but see, we say we want change and want better for Helena, but here we are.
Man.
So my thing is we gotta be consistent on what we want. So the next.
Go ahead. Procedurally, the only thing that's happened is you suspended the rules for the reading. You haven't adopted anything at this point, procedurally. Go ahead, ma'am, I'm sorry. So order number 15, 2024, an ordinance to set sewer rates for customers, charges, and fees for the city of Helena-West, Helena. Now there needs to be a motion.
Is
to
there a
adopt.
motion, is motion to adopt?
So
Yeah.
moved.
Mr. Evans, so moved. Ms. Harris, seconds the motion. Any discussion?
Yes, I appreciate your comments, Mr. Mayor and Ms. Harris. I believe in having a concise and consolidated message, and mine has been all year long. If your water department is underwater and losing money, you can't maintain your infrastructure, you can't maintain employment. If you're against raising your rates to maintain your department, then what is your plan? And that's the message that people have to understand. The reason why the governor says it won't help you is because you have a water department that's losing money. It can't fix leaks, it can't fix infrastructure, it can't employ people who are qualified. I'm not talking about the people who are working. I'm saying you can't go out and attract other people to come because the people you have are underpaid. And so what is your plan if it's not to raise the rates? And if you have one, I'm listening. But if you don't, and then if we raise the rates to the level where we get loan forgiveness, all of this multi-million-dollar infrastructure repair potentially can be forgiven, so we don't have to pay it back. But if you don't have a plan, then this is the only thing, this is the only train that's leaving the station. I would love to keep my bills as low as it used to be 15 years ago. I just challenge anybody who's against it to tell me what's your plan. And if it's just, I don't want to pay it. I mean, none of us do.
Right.
I don't.
I mean, I think
That's not gonna
I
fix
think
the
the
problem.
thing is, we reserve our right to have our opinion, and I don't want to raise rates. That's my opinion, so. Let's just go ahead and have the vote.
I respect that opinion, but
I understand, and I respect yours
see,
too.
and I'm addressing like,
Let's just have the vote and let it fall where it may.
and it's not just the people at the table, it's like the community. There are a lot of people who say, we gotta pay more, and then they complain about the water was out, but these things go hand in hand. The garbage trucks, because water is living off sanitation fee. It's one big train to nowhere. And so I don't want to do it either, but I like to tell people why I did what I did. And
Right.
what we're doing right now is, in thinking that it will change for me, is not going to happen. The math is not going to get better, it's going to get worse in time. And so to that point, I just like to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing, because there is no alternative at this point. And if somebody has one, I'm all ears to listen to it, but there is no alternative. So.
Also, I want to remind the body that we have 3 consent administrative orders relating to water and sewer, and they require significant expenditures from the city. To reemphasize what Mr. Esler is saying, is that the water department has been borrowing from sanitation to try to stay afloat, and it has been losing money.
Since 2019.
18.
As far as we can determine.
Right.
2018, it's been losing money.
Right, and there's some significant things that the state has ordered us to do. So I want you all to keep that in mind as it relates to it. I know this is, when you see citizens on the street, what they do is that they tend to say, don't raise my water bills, but the options are, we're at a point where we have no choice. In fact, when you try to get some more money, you may have to raise them again. But that's for a further discussion.
Well, I would hope not to raise again, and this is why. As the breakout shows in your packet, on the recommended rate, you raised 1.4 million new dollars, which is actually like 700,000 because you were 700,000 short. On the one you're doing is 2.8 million dollars, which is about 2.1 million new dollars since you were 700,000 short. So with that 2.1 million dollars, we should be able to sustain anybody saying you're not charging enough. I think you're going to be fine on that for a while, except for inflationary increases, 2 or 3% a year.
If I'm correct, I think they owe us about over $500,000 in sanitation fees. So it's no small amount.
Yes.
That the city could be using, but the water company needs to stay afloat. So
Right.
And-
Yes, sir.
And I must add this, when it's time, the clerk's always sending a box of bills. The money that we're not getting, we could be paying some of our debt. So we need the water department to be functional, and we also need the city to be functional. So I think this is the right step in the right direction for us to get our city where it needs to be. So, Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
What's the motion?
To adopt the sewer rate ordinance.
Okay, the
And
one,
that number?
Okay, so what was it?
15.
15.
It's
It's the same one.
Same.
You suspended the rules, we haven't adopted it at this point.
So we
Okay,
suspended the rules, adopted, now we're voting to adopt it.
Yes.
So we need to, okay. Mr. St. Columbia,
No.
Mr. Miller,
Come back to me, please.
He said come back.
Come back
Okay.
to me, I'm still.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
Ms. Maxine Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Franklin.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Come back to Mr.
Wait,
Miller.
wait, wait. I gotta want Mr.
Well,
Miller.
she passed it anyway, so.
No.
Let it ride the way it is. That'll count as my no then. We'll come back to it.
There needs to be a vote on the emergency clause. Is there a motion to approve the emergency clause?
Motion to approve the emergency clause.
So moved.
Mr. Evans moves to adopt the emergency clause. Ms. Harris seconds the motion. In discussion? Madam Clerk, you call the roll.
Okay, Mr. St. Columbia,
No.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Miller,
No.
Ms. Maxine Miller,
Yes.
and Mr. Etherly.
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor?
Mayor.
Mr. Rookie
Mayor?
I'm a vote yes.
and Mayor Franklin. Okay, motion passes.
You now have ordinance number 16. We're gonna label it as 16, but it's the water rate ordinance. Is there a motion to suspend the rules, place on third and final reading the title only?
Mr. Ethan moves to place order number 16 on third and final reading.
Second.
Ms. Harris seconds the motion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Harris? Yes. Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
Ms. Maxine Miller,
Yes.
Mr. St. Columbia,
No.
Mr. Kyle Miller.
No.
Mayor Franklin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Well, city attorney, you want to read the title?
Yes, sir. Order number 16, 2024, ordinance to set water rates and customer charges and fees for the city of Helena-West, Helena. There needs to be a motion to adopt.
Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 16?
So moved.
Ms. Miller moves to
Second.
adopt ordinance number 16. Mrs. Harris seconds the motion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. St. Columbia,
No.
Mr. Miller,
No.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Emergency clause.
Motion to
There needs to be a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Ms. Miller makes a motion to adopt. Mrs.
Second.
Harris seconds the motion. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. St. Columbia,
No.
Ms. Harris. Yes. Mr. Miller,
No.
Ms. Maxine Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Etherly,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Well, St. Columbia, that concludes the agenda.
Move to adjourn, Ms. St. Columbia? We move to adjourn.